Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, George Washington. These were the forefathers of our American nation. These men saw the necessity for the citizens of a nation to be able to defend themselves from tyranny, both domestic and foreign. These beliefs in the rights of American people led to the support of the Constitution we know today. Article 2 of the Constitution states, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." In the infidel days of America, local militiamen forces were the only force of reliable protection against an oppressive British army. Seeing the importance of an individual's citizen rights and maintaining personal safety and national freedom, 70 delegates supported the Constitution and signed their names. Pol Pot, leader of the Khmer Rouge. Chairman Mao, head revolutionary of the first communist of China. Joseph Stalin, leader of the Soviet Communists. Between the three of these leaders, an estimated 100 million people were killed under their power. It was a firm belief of these men that people did not have to carry firearms because protection was already provided by their government alone.
12 million unarmed men, women, and children were unable to resist being murdered by their own National Socialist government in Germany. Perhaps 50 million unarmed men, women, and children were murdered by their own Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. 50 million Chinese murdered by their own government under Mao, who also disarmed his people, and in Cuba, and in Vietnam, and in the killing fields of Cambodia.
So what is gun control? Gun control is the effort to regulate and control the sales of various types of guns. This includes, but is not limited to, the caliber of round, size of a magazine, and rate fire of a weapon. Does gun control actually work? Let's look at some historical examples. In 1976, Washington, D.C. enacted a firearm ban, which prohibited anyone other than the law enforcement officers to own or carry any gun for self-defense or protection.
As Washington's gun law passed, the murder rate actually increased, even while America's murder rate dropped.
In the years 1996 and 2003, the Australian government initiated a mandatory gun buyback of firearms that were made newly illegal. They were given the face value of their weapons to disarm them and were later destroyed.
A gun buyback that forced law-abiding citizens to surrender their firearms in a nationwide roundup and meltdown of all semi-automatic firearms and pump-action rifles and shotguns. Armed robberies have skyrocketed, up 69%. Assaults involving guns rose 28%. Gun murders increased 19%. And a new phenomenon, home invasions jumped 21%.
It's pretty clear that gun control doesn't work. As proven in past examples, in both Australia and Washington, D.C., crime rates skyrocketed up, in Washington, D.C. by 70% and in Australia by 35%, what they were before they initiated any type of gun control laws. Gun control suppresses the rights of responsible, law-abiding citizens and does not really affect criminals on the street who would have access to guns either way, just as they have access to other illegal elements.
We know that criminals, by definition, are people who don't obey laws. Therefore, you can pass all the laws you want. They will still have access to these weapons, just as they have access to illegal drugs and other things right now.
Owning a firearm is an American right that is for protection against criminals, tyranny, and for any other form of protection. Firearms are also used for hobbies such as hunting, but along with owning a firearm comes responsibility.
In this room tonight, want to place the blame for this horror on things like 30-round magazines or semi-automatic rifles.
It is unfair to punish American law-abiding citizens by restricting Second Amendment rights due to the irresponsible behavior of criminals. In order to prevent criminals and dangerous people from getting their hands on a gun, actions such as mental health tests and background checks need to be initiated when an individual wants to purchase a firearm.
The Second Amendment is there to protect the American people from tyranny. The Second Amendment is there to protect the American people from politicians. The Second Amendment is there to protect the American people from us.
Shackled by my sentence, expecting no return. Here there is no penance, my skin